Do I need to like introduce him and stuff?
Yeah. Go ahead.
Hi, Natalia.
Yeah, so like introduce him and everything. That way if like we wanted to, we could just run the interview. And I think he should be able to hear you now, so if you want to talk to him.
Hi, Randy. How are you?
I'm doing well, Natalia. I heard you just got off shift, so no rest for the weary, huh?
Oh, I am back in the studio, and no, I like it like that. Hustle, hustle.
Good.
Thanks so much for talking to us. So, are you back on Earth?
I am back on Earth. Yeah, unfortunately, the flying in space part's a small part of what we do, but it's a very enjoyable part. But yeah, I'm definitely back on Earth.
Okay. So, are we going to roll here? Are we already rolling?
Yeah. Here we go. Stand by. In 3, 2, 1.
Hi, good afternoon. I am joined here with astronaut Randy Bresnik, who is from Kentucky. Thank you so much for joining us. And I see there you are back on Earth, so welcome back.
Thank you. If you have to have a home planet, this is not a bad one to have.
What has your experience been like?
I've been fortunate to be here at
Tell
NASA.
us what.
Go ahead.
Yeah, I think we're just having a little bit of a delay.
Yeah.
But yeah, let me just ask you first, what prompted you to want to be an astronaut? Was that a dream of yours since you were little?
For me, it was something I was certainly fascinated in. I grew up as we were finishing, well, I was a child as we were finishing up the Apollo moon landings, but I still remember building a Gemini model with Ed White on the tether out during the first American spacewalk with my dad, and painting that and having that on my shelf along with the other airplane models we'd built together. And for me, it was just amazing fascination with it, but I was just a skinny little kid, born in Kentucky and raised in California, who I never thought that was possible, but I wanted to fly, and so for me that was my main driving factor. And I was fortunate enough to get a Marine Corps scholarship out of high school and be able to go to college, and that allowed me to become an officer and become a pilot in the Marine Corps. And through that and flying F-18s in the Marine Corps, I got a chance to go to Top Gun and our weapons school and teach other people how to fly and employ the F-18. But then it was like, well, what's next? Okay, well then I applied to test pilot school, and got a chance to go to there and learn about how airplanes work and how we test things and how we link the operators that use it and the program people and the engineers that build it. So that was the neat thing. And then the next thing was, well, what's after that? And so at that point, a friend of mine had gotten selected in 2000, a part of the 2000 class. And I thought, wow, if they'll select him, then maybe I've got a shot. And so I put in my application, and here I am. It was something that fascinated me, but I thought was just so, never possible. But it's also a good example for kids to show that, hey, whatever your dreams are, don't let somebody else tell you that you can't do them, because you never know what's going to be possible.
Randy, let me ask you, what have been some of your most favorite experiences as an astronaut?
Oh, wow. There've been a lot. Everything from when we're on the ground and we're doing our jobs, because we're here to fulfill the job of either providing crew experience to engineering and programs as we're developing new vehicles. We are here to support the current operations that are going on orbit, whether that was shuttle missions or commercial crew missions or this ISS missions that we've had up there, humans up there continuously for 19 years. That takes quite a few folks to make sure that everything goes smoothly up on orbit for those folks. And so we're attending the meetings, we're taking doing the training, we're evaluating the procedures, we're making sure all the logistics works. And so we are involved with all the folks that do that, providing the crew office opinion. But we also do a lot of outreach, and so that's an enjoyable part too, when I can go out and talk to our future space explorers and kids that are wondering, what should I do? What do I want to pursue and study? Go, well, these are things that we need for space exploration, like the science and the technology and the engineering, the math, all these things that you can get into. And whether or not you're an astronaut or you're the flight surgeon or the engineer that builds the rocket or the folks that actually figure out how to fuel the rocket, all these jobs, the food people that make the different types of food systems, or the psychologists that make sure the astronauts have good mental health. There's a myriad of jobs out there that help us explore space, and there's a place for anyone who's interested. And then obviously the obvious part, but the tiny little part of our job.
What was it like the very first time that you were in space and you looked down at the Earth? What was that feeling like?
That was pretty humbling. My whole life, the horizon was flat. And we had gone uphill on STS-129 Atlantis. We come uphill about Mach 13, the shuttle rolls upright, and then the satellites can start talking to our antennas instead of ground-based stations. And at that point, I got the chance, the break, as we were accelerating up to Mach 25, to look out the window, and all of a sudden now the horizon's like this. That was just amazing, because when any of us see this, our mind extrapolates how big that circle is. And this Earth that I had spent my whole life on certainly seemed pretty small. And as we went on in that mission, to me, it was just exceptionally humbling to think that everybody I ever knew and every human who's ever existed was down on this little tiny marble that we went around in just 90 minutes. And that we would go around the Earth 16 times in a day. It makes the Earth seem very small, and I'm just a small part of it. And so it was really, you know, an amazing way to kind of look at your home planet, this little spaceship Earth that we're all on, and you know, really be amazed at what a marvel it is here in the middle of our solar system that can sustain life for all of us down here on Earth.
Speaking of home, did you ever look out the window and say, look, there's Kentucky, there's where I was born?
I certainly flew over it many times, and what I found out quickly, it was really hard to find exact things when you're inside of a landmass. Stuff along the coast is really easy because there's defined features. So there's certainly times where I flew over wondering, hey, is that Louisville? You know, is that you know, Ireland Army Hospital there at Fort Knox where I was born? That was certainly you know, one of the things I wondered when we went over.
Randy, thank you so much for talking with us. We really appreciate it, and you make us Kentucky proud. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Natalia. Have a good day.
Take care.
All right, and the neat part about what's going on right now is we've established the Artemis program, and that's going to take us forward to the moon on the path to Mars. What does that mean? We've got the Orion space vehicle that we've been building that's going to take the crew out of low Earth orbit, fly them to the moon, and dock with the Gateway station there. that'll then allow the Gateway Station to have the lander that's going to land on the lunar surface dock there as well. Will transfer from the Orion through the Gateway onto the lander and actually go down and do the mission on the lunar surface. 2024 is we're going to put the first woman and the next man on the moon with that system. How does those folks get there? Right through Kentucky. We've got the SLS rocket, the most powerful rocket ever built. And we've got suppliers and folks that are in Kentucky. They're supplying parts and technologies that allow the SLS to fly and launch the crew off of Earth. You know, a couple of the companies are doing stuff that's involved with solid rocket motors, the propellants and the glues and the polymers that hold those together. Those are the two big, what look like candlesticks on the side of the SLS rocket. And those things are over 3 million pounds of thrust each. And then that's going to be added to the 4 engines that are on the bottom of the main core stage on the orange tank that's in the middle. And that's what's going to propel the Orion and its service module out of, you know, gravity's clutches to get them up to the speeds that we need to be able to get heading to the moon. And so that's where Kentucky plays its part in our future of our space missions. And we look forward to having more people and companies from Kentucky involved as we go further into the solar system.
Okay. All right, Haley, Randy is up, so you can go ahead and start talking. Oh, wait, hang on, don't talk to him yet. They haven't dialed in IFB? Okay, do you all have the IFB phone number? It looks like we don't have them.
Hello, Colonel, this is Dan. Can you hear me?
Dan, I can hear you.
Director Dan. Yeah, he's not hearing it.
No, I can hear you, Dan.
Oh, there we go. Yep, okay.
All right, hold on. I'm going to make sure you can hear Haley. Haley, go ahead and talk to him.
Colonel Bresnik, can you hear me?
It's very faint, but I'll just turn up the volume on my end, and hopefully that'll work.
She's offline.
No, I think he's out into Telos.
What is... They dialed into 75. Is that Telos? Okay, so what's the number he needs to call? It's 502-625-0467.
All right, can you hear me a little bit better this time?
I can.
Perfect. That's good to hear. Okay, let's go ahead and kick this bad boy off. All right. So it's not every day that you get an out-of-this-world interview opportunity, but this is our lucky day. Joining me right now, we have former Marine, current astronaut, Colonel Randy Bresnik. Off the top of my head, I feel like I got to ask this question. Everyone's going to want to know, what is it like being in orbit?
What it's like being from orbit is amazing. I mean, it really is indescribable, and it is so beautiful, peaceful, amazing, that you wish that everybody could see it, because it changes you and how you feel about, you know, the people that are down there on Spaceship Earth with you, because you go around it every 90 minutes. So in a day, you go around the Earth 16 times. And you're moving at 17,500 miles an hour, and it's just astounding to go over the Earth. And as it moves below you, the colors change, the light changes, the weather changes, so it's never the same Earth that you've passed over at any point. So it's always something new every time. And like I said, if we get everybody up there, then it would be a pretty neat objective.
So you spent almost 150 days not on Earth, 150 days looking down at Earth. What were some of the best parts, and then what were some of the parts that were a little bit more challenging?
Certainly the best parts of being on orbit are being able to, you know, look down at the planet, execute the mission of the, you know, International Space Station that we're doing right now, doing all this research and science that allows us to unlock some of the secrets of our, you know, our Earth, of our biology, of our human genome, and be able to do research in places, you know, with zero gravity that we can't do here on Earth. And so that certainly is some of the most exciting times. The more challenging times are, you know, just like any other human, being away from your family. You know, being able to have, on my first flight, my wife was 9 months pregnant, and I launched and she gave birth to our daughter on day 5. That was hard.
Oh my gosh.
That's much harder than riding a rocket with 7 million parts all working together, you know, to get you to orbit. Leaving her behind was definitely much harder. And then on the second mission, you know, we've got 2 children, and you know, they were in elementary school, and leaving them and my wife, who works full time, behind, that was certainly hard. But you know, any human who has to go away from their families, you know, knows what that's like. Just I was doing it off planet instead of just you know, outside the country or in a different city.
Now, in our research, we found that you are technically a Kentuckian, though you didn't spend too much of your time here. So if you wouldn't mind, just kind of tell me a little bit about your memories of Kentucky, if you still have family in Kentucky, or if you ever come back and visit.
So my father was in the Army and was stationed at Fort Knox, and that's where I was born, just, you know, a few years ago. at the Ireland Army Hospital in Fort Knox. And then, but it was 2 weeks after that that the family picked up to move out to California, and my dad was deployed to Vietnam. And so since then, you know, we had lived there, but there was a point where we were doing a family trip from Southern California up to Canada to go visit our grandparents. And we stopped, and I got to see Ireland Army Hospital, you know, as a kid, and I have, you know, a vision now of what that was like as we were, you know, stopped to visit there. And I've driven through Kentucky many times, you know, feel a kinship towards it as I went to college and in my moves within the Marine Corps. And certainly, you know, being from orbit, being able to look down and see as we crossed over, you know, Kentucky. It's hard to pick out the details, but it was, you know, it's certainly the one place, you know, in the, you know, middle of the country where, you know, I belong to it because that's where I started.
Mm-hmm. So, kind of building off of that, there are several companies here in Kentucky that make products or make different things that are involved in a successful space mission. So when you are maybe orbiting or you are not, I guess, on Earth, do you ever think about how it seems like the whole country produces something that kind of comes together to make this rocket ship that's like for the greater good? I mean, that's kind of outstanding when you really think about it.
Yeah, certainly there's the part that, you know, our Orion and our whole Artemis and SLS and all these programs, we've got folks in, you know, all 50 states contributing to our space program. That is just awesome. And the fact that there are the companies that are interested, the people that are interested, and everybody's part of that space program. And the even more amazing part is now put that on a global scale, where the International Space Station has, you know, space agencies from Japan, Canada, Europeans, Russians. And we've been up there for 20 years with 19 years of being continuously manned by humans. And that we as a species have done the engineering and design and manufacture so well at this point in our history that we can manufacture something in Italy or in Russia or in Kentucky. We can fly to the space station, and the first time it is assembled, it fits and it works the way we designed it. That is astounding, and that's what makes the International Space Station, you know, it's going to go down in history as one of those most amazing technological achievements humans have ever done. And so I look forward to the next step where we're going to take that experience we've gained there and move it on to the moon with the Artemis program.
So you started as a Marine, you flew FA-18s. Can you talk about kind of the comparison between you know, being a part of an FA-18 crew and then getting on a spaceship, and then also just maybe a message that you might have to young children that are watching this who want to one day, you know, be in your shoes?
Well, certainly the Marine Corps was excellent training for me to be able to be prepared to be an astronaut. You know, you learn how to participate as a group. You realize that, you know, hey, it's not about you. You have to be part of the bigger team. You have to be able to trust people and be the type of person that they can trust with your life. It also is about attention to detail and executing the mission, and, you know, reminding yourself every day that you're doing something for the good of the country. Spaceflight is no different. It's just you're off planet, and now you get to do it, you know, not just for the people in the country, but the people for our planet, for, you know, everybody that's a human. And we try to be good ambassadors for that. We look forward to the opportunities to get more people up there to see our beautiful planet. And certainly my message for young people out there is your hopes and your dreams, no one can take that away. They are yours. No one can tell you no. The only person, you know, puts limits on you is the ones you put on yourself. And so if you want to be part of our space program, or you want to do anything else that you desire, you own that. And our future on this planet and off planet looks very bright, and we need you to be a part of it.
In our future, do you think that we will plan another mission to the moon? Do you think that human will, I guess, in our lifetime, step foot on the moon again? And then what about Mars? How does that kind of play into all of this as well? I mean, would you go on a mission to Mars if that was your mission?
The most amazing, exciting thing about right now is in low Earth orbit, we have the space station. And within the next year, we're going to have two companies, SpaceX and Boeing, send their vehicles that they've made, launched out of the Kennedy Space Center on U.S. soil, taking astronauts to the International Space Station. So 2 vehicles. No country at any point in history has had more than 1 human-rated space vehicle flying at a time that does ascent and entry back to Earth. So we'll have 2. Well, guess what? Also next year is the first flight of Artemis, the unmanned Orion vehicle aboard the SLS rocket, the most powerful rocket ever built, that's going to do the unmanned test of the Orion space capsule and the SLS system for the Artemis 1 mission. 2 years after that, in 2022, we're going to have the first manned mission of Artemis going back to the moon. We're going to do an Apollo 7 type of shakedown flight, first flight of Orion with people on an Apollo 8 profile where we actually fly around the moon and test everything out and come back to Earth, and not Mach 25 like we do from the space station. We're going to come back at Mach 32. 2 years later, 2024, as the vice president, laid out the plan, our national goal is to have humans, the first woman and the next man, on the moon in 2024. So absolutely, we're going there, and we're going there fast. How can we do that? Is that we know we can do it because Apollo led the way, and now we're using that to guide Artemis. And we have companies all over the country that are involved with our space program that we didn't have back then. So we've got all these companies that are going to make it possible to give us the flexibility and the technological, advantage that we need to be able to make that happen. And then every year after that, we're going to have Artemis missions till we build up to a sustained presence on the moon in 2028, where we are there for, weeks, months on end. And there, we're going to be able to test out all the hardware and the habitats and the hatches and the suits and the rovers that'll allow us to prove out those technologies, because the moon has the harshest environment that we know in the solar system, because it doesn't have wind and rain and erosion to pulverize the particles that have been impacting it. So it's really jagged and rough. And so we go to Mars and we take all that stuff we've tested on the moon, we take it to Mars. Well, it's a much more benign environment because the environment isn't as harsh. And so it'll just be the fact that we are now a lot farther away, the journey's taken longer, and we're going to be there for a lot longer period that makes it tough going to Mars. And certainly the moon will lead the way to Mars, and we should be there within the next couple of decades.
Now, really fast before we let you go, I got to ask you one more really important question that I'm sure a lot of our viewers want to know. If you had to choose, would it be the cards or the cats?
Would it be the what?
The cards or the cats, Louisville or Kentucky? University of Louisville or University of Kentucky?
Oh, man. I don't have a good answer for you there. Wildcats.
You don't have to choose either. That's totally fine. That's the politically correct way, I guess. Just shoot it down the middle. We like both of them.
I hope they both do well, yes.
Perfect. Well, thank you so much for joining us. We really appreciate you. There we go. Perfect. We hope you have a great rest of your tenure with NASA. Good luck as you continue in your journeys and all of your otherworldly missions. That's totally awesome. We will make sure that we stay in touch with you and kind of follow you in your missions and all that good stuff. So thank you so much for joining us. We really appreciate it.
And thank you, Haley, and thank you to all the people in Kentucky that support our space program.